I guess I have to talk. This is a talk station. I tell you, man, Brett Barney, you're doing wonders. Stacey Abrams, she's definitely, Senator David Perdue, this is a message for you and your staff. That's not the message. That wasn't the message to Senator Perdue. That was not the message. We're not trying to tell Senator Perdue where the freaks are at. We're not trying to do that at all. That wasn't the message. Here's the message. Sometimes it just comes out that way. Here's the message. This is for Senator David Perdue. Stacey Abrams is going to run against you. And I want to be clear to everybody. What I'm getting ready to say, I said directly to Senator Perdue at CPAC. I saw him walking around. I stopped him. We talked for a second, and I told him these exact words. Stacey's going to run against you for Senate. He said, yes, I think so. Then he said, but I think she really wants the governor's seat. And I said, yes, but she can get to the governor's seat through the Senate. You know, it's easier to win a Senate seat, serve a 6-year term, and then become governor than it is to go for governor, lose possibly again, and then, you know what I mean? And I know they're both statewide races, but they both have different implications. You see, it's a different race. They're both statewide. Understand what I'm saying? A lot of people say, "Well, Shelley, it doesn't matter. They're both statewide races." No, they are both statewide races, but they're two different campaign mechanisms. The turnout, who you're trying to get to vote for you, is the same because they're statewide. But the things that you're talking about are different. One is you're talking about more national issues. The other one you're talking about statewide issues. And Stacey Abrams, with the backing of the National Democratic Party, can talk about national issues around the state of Georgia for a Senate seat more easily and more effectively than she can a statewide seat. So that's why I think she's going to run for Senate. The other reason she's going to run for Senate is because the Democrats at the Hill, they're the Oversight Committee. They're going to investigate voter suppression in the Georgia state election. They're going to investigate it in the Congressional Oversight Committee. Opens investigation into alleged Georgia voter suppression. Now, here's the problem with this investigation. The problem in this investigation is that what they're doing to look into, they're looking as a federal agency looking into what is essentially a state issue. Not only a state issue, but what they're accusing Brian Kemp, our friend, Governor Brian Kemp, what they're accusing of, he had nothing to do with. Like they're talking about the closing. We talked about this on the show. You guys know, you follow the show, you listen to the show all the time. You know, we talked about the closing of the polling places. They wanted to close polling places in Randolph County. That became national news. Well, what didn't become national news was the Secretary of State's office under Brian Kemp wrote a letter to Randolph County election supervisors saying, no, that you can't do this. It's a bad idea. Now, they had no control over it because the state does not run elections. You got to understand that. No one understands that. The Secretary of State had nothing to do with statewide elections. He only oversees the results. Counties and municipalities run their own elections. Fulton County is in charge of the elections in Fulton County. Randolph County is in charge of the elections in Randolph County. They do not report to the Secretary of State. They do not get clearance from the Secretary of State. That's not how it works. The Secretary of State's office only verifies the numbers sent to them by the counties. So this oversight committee they're doing nothing else. They're looking and investigating recent reports of serious problems with voter registration, voter access, and other matters affecting the ability of people in Georgia to exercise their right. That's the letter that was sent to Governor Kemp's office, and we're going to try and get the governor on to talk about this as soon as we can. But this is crazy. Because what they're doing is, they know what they're doing. They know there was no problems. What they're trying to do is move Stacey Abrams' national profile even higher. Senator Perdue. I cannot make this any more important to you, sir, and your staff that's listening right now. I'm going to say this, and I mean this with all the love in my heart for you, because I think you've done a wonderful job as senator. I think you've done a stellar job. You've done a lot of good work. But you have got to staff up with quality, qualified minority staffers. Now, I'm going to say this again. You cannot roll in and roll through this statewide election against Stacey Abrams with the same old people. I'm telling you, it's not going to work. You need qualified minority staffers. You need to snatch Nick Buford from the governor. You need to snatch Janelle Jones. You need to snatch Gina Barr down from Michigan. You need quality minority staffers on this race, or you will lose. You can give all the millions of dollars to the same consultants that everybody gives them to here in Georgia. All the same people that lost Karen Handel's race, the same people that lost all the other statewide races, the county races. You can still give the same money to all of these buttoned up University of Georgia, quote unquote, smart political consultants that you guys give the same money to over the same elections all the same time, and you will lose, sir. Take that from me. If you guys think I know what I'm talking about on a daily basis about politics, I am telling you, give the money to the same consultants you've always gave them to, and you will lose. Because you cannot run the same race that Brian Kemp ran. Brian Kemp was strategic. He had a lot of African Americans, a lot of women, a lot of millennials on his staff. But you can't run the same rule-centric race that Brian Kemp ran, because you're running for senator. I'm telling you, sir. If you hire the same people, you're going to get the same results. Get out of that bag. Don't have them on their team like that.
I'm just curious, asking you, because you really do know politics very well. If the Democratic Party was willing to spend so much on Jon Ossoff, how much do you think they would spend on Stacey Abrams?
Oh, they're going to spend close to $75-80 million on a Senate race for Stacey Abrams. That's why they're doing this Georgia oversight thing and putting her up front. They're going to spend millions of dollars to get that Senate seat. It's a Senate seat, so that you need some of those. It's a statewide seat, and you're quicker because the governor's race will be about a year later or 2 years later. I'm not sure. Brian Kemp ran in 2018, so it'll be 2022. So the Senate race is 2020. 2 years later is a governor's race. Stacey Abrams 2 years into a Senate into a Senate seat. So now she's the top dog in the state. So she's mobilizing everybody to get that governor's seat to the Democrats. This is chess these guys are playing. Real chess. And so that's why I say, if Senator Perdue, I hope you're listening, because I like you a lot. I think you're a stellar Senate candidate. I think you're a great guy. I've met you personally. I know you. You're a good man. Don't go down the same road with the same consultants that everyone else goes to. You will lose this race. It's the Shelley Winter Show on the New Talk 106.7. It's time to go to the Haviland Express Lube Traffic Center with my brother, Matthew the Door.